Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I want to remind you that iTrustCapital, who's one of my first sponsors ever, is going to be added, their private equity is going to be added to the Link2 platform, who's also one of my sponsors, tomorrow. I believe it's 8 a.m. Pacific time is when they're going to add it on there. And I want to show you something because many of you don't know. I said yesterday, this company, we literally, Brad Combs and I, Digital Perspectives, we met these guys early. Like, I think it may have even been 2018 or early 2019. These guys, this is their website today, and you can see the XRP there. And then they went through the whole lawsuit, had to delist XRP, then they just recently relisted it. But this is what they looked like when I first spoke to them back. This is from May 2019, but I spoke to them even before that. When they started, they literally, these were their listings, and they wanted to. They were asking if I would start talking about them and and I said, well, I can, but you're gonna have to put Ripple or XRP on the platform. And I remember them adding it, and when they first added it, as I recall, they had the Ripple logo, the spinner, and I said that's not going to work. This is I said you got to have the X logo, and literally had to talk them through that, as I recall. But that's a true story. And this company, literally at the time, I think when we started, they may have had 70 accounts, and they eventually became a $1 billion valued company. Not sure what their valuation is now, crypto winter and all that. Who knows? But they're going to be added to the platform tomorrow. Really fascinating, the journey that we've been on. Here's David Schwartz at the WebX conference over in Japan. Listen to this.
You achieve that, and what's your plan to achieve that next level of widespread adoption?
Well, one of the things that I'm very personally excited about is XLS-30, which is an automated market maker, which fits really nicely in with the other features that the XRP ledger has. I think another big thing you're going to see is the same technology that's used in the XRP ledger being used for other projects that have similar needs. You're going to see that with stable coins. You're going to see that with tokenization of assets like real estate. People who don't want to be, not everything needs to be on the same blockchain. And I think replicating that technology to have side chains that are application specific is going to be interesting. I'm personally just really excited about the automated market maker. That's something that's been, the sort of mechanics of the trading of assets have been interesting to me for a long time. And in particular, it really helps with the volatility. One of the big obstacles to adoption of cryptocurrency is the volatility of their price, and that'll really help with that.
And, we're in Tokyo today. While you're in Japan, you have this large XRP support base here. The XRP has the support of SBI Holdings CEO Yoshitaka Kitao, who has said that he believes all Japanese banks would adopt XRP by 2025. That's only 18 months away. Can that happen? And how can the XRP ledger kind of get to that point?
I'm very nervous about predicting the future. I don't have a crystal ball, and as you know, circumstances can change. But I have to say, XRP was built as a sort of value exchange system. It was built as a way to sort of pool liquidity. One of the earliest visions that we had for the XRP ledger in 2012 was this idea of sort of public pools of liquidity that anybody could contribute to and draw off of, so that you wouldn't be stuck with the liquidity. Like, if you make a payment an international payment at your bank, you get whatever liquidity the bank has, and it's a revenue stream for them. Like, if you could draw off all of the revenue, all of the pools of liquidity, anybody who had, Apple has a whole bunch of money stuck in Ireland for no particular reason. Like, if people need money in Ireland, Apple would love to have a marketplace in which they could sort of provide that to people. And I think that model resonates well with financial institutions. Ripple has had great success marketing, more sophisticated payment systems that can settle with digital assets to financial institutions.
All right. I wanted to show you this tweet from Wrath of Kahneman. There's an excitement over the XRP ledger automated market makers, largely for staking income. The interesting thing is that AMM should reduce price volatility, which in general is not something traders want. Curious to see if massive volumes and AMM effectively render XRP price stable. XRP, the stable coin? Is that what he said? We've seen that there have been so many references in documentation, like at, I believe it was World Economic Forum, different things, where they referred to XRP and I believe Stellar as stable coins. How could you achieve that? Then there's this. Now I think that this guy is right over the target. I believe when I think about XRP, well, first of all, when I think about digital assets, the digital assets that CBDCs, stable coins, tokenized assets can be built on are the ones that I'm interested. Those are the things I'm interested in. And so I believe this is what the future is.
Memorandum of Understanding to establish our digital asset custodian, called Zodia, here in the DIFC. Now, 5 years ago, we weren't talking about a digital asset custodian in Standard Chartered Bank.
How big can that be, Bill? This is becoming a hub for crypto. It's very, very clear it's an ambition. So from an MOU to dollars, tell me what it can be.
So we have Zodia is our digital asset custodian, and I do make the distinction between digital assets and crypto.
Okay.
Today, crypto is the bulk of what is digital assets today. When we look forward 5 or 10 years from now, I think we'll find vast swathes of the financial architecture that has been tokenized. That could include central bank digital currencies, which of course exist to some extent so far, but they're quite small at this point. Stable coins, tokenized real assets, whether it's, Jenny talks about effectively the digitization or tokenization of money market funds, right? These are trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that could find themselves in tokenized form. And there's an underlying infrastructure that's different for distributed ledger technology relative to the current state of play. And to the extent that Dubai or anyone else can get ahead of the game and make sure that infrastructure is embedded in the local infrastructure, but also regulated from here, it gives you a huge head start in terms of building that industry over time.
Well, that digitization that Jenny talked about in many ways handed the power to this.
All right, interesting stuff. Now, this is really interesting. Meta Lawman, who's one of the good guy attorneys out there in the crypto sphere, he does a little thread on where we're at on the SEC Ripple case. Update, there's a lot of debate about what the SEC will do next in the Ripple case. I believe there are at least 4 options under consideration. Option 1, file request for interlocutory appeal, locutory appeal. Because no final judgment has been entered yet, SEC doesn't have the unilateral right to appeal now. It would need permission from both Judge Torres and Second Circuit Court of Appeal to proceed with an interlocutory appeal. To get permission for interlocutory appeal, the SEC would need to show that 1, ruling involves controlling question of law. 2, there's a substantial grounds for difference of opinion on that question. And 3, an immediate appeal may materially advance the litigation. SEC should have a decent argument that all 3 elements are present here. There's no specific deadline for the initial request, but it should be done promptly. A rule of thumb is within 30 days. If judge agrees, SEC would then have 10 days to ask the Second Circuit Court. Option 2, SEC through a trial. SEC through with a trial on aiding and abetting claim against Larson Garlinghouse, then files regular appeal. Option 3, SEC drops claim against Larson and Garlinghouse now and takes an immediate appeal, no permission needed. Option 4, settle. I believe the SEC is likely for option 1, interlocutory appeal, because A, there's a tremendous political pressure on Gensler to get Torres' decision reversed ASAP. B, the decision looms like a dark cloud over the SEC's cases against Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex. The political considerations are important. Crypto exchanges around the world are relisting XRP, making SEC look bad. Progressive Congressman Richie Torres and others have been emboldened to amp up criticism of Gensler. This is all embarrassing for Gensler and his allies. I think settlement is unlikely at this point. It's hard to imagine SEC settling with Ripple and leaving the Torres president untested on appeal. The SEC's whole regulation by enforcement program against the crypto industry hinges on getting Torres reversed. Bottom line, I expect the SEC to file a request for interlocutory appeal within the next 2 weeks. I believe it would be in the best interest of Ripple and the XRP community for the appeals process to start now rather than a year from now, and I like Ripple's chances on appeal. I disagree with Meta Lawman on what I think is going to happen. And Jack McDonald, who was on Thinking Crypto, sums up what I think. Because I remember John Deaton talking about this and how if the SEC appeals with Ripple, if they do a post-judgment settlement with Ripple, this will not spread, and they can continue to go after all these other digital assets. And I think that's what Gary. I think it's too risky for him to appeal. But listen to what Jack McDonald, from the CEO of PolySign, says here.
It'll be interesting to see what prevails now with Ripple and the SEC. Does the SEC just kind of accept that ruling around XRP as a security and let it lie, or do they really want to push the envelope and open up what would be a much broader potential ruling against them for a lot of other similar sort of tokens or assets, that they believe could be deemed to be securities? And if the Ripple case is meant to be, demonstrative and setting a precedence, the implication could be far worse for the SEC. So they may just want to box XRP and say the XRP ruling was a very narrow, fact-specific sort of ruling from the court, and it's really not meant to encapsulate the broader ecosystem of what we at the SEC believe are securities. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Facts and circumstances. That, you know how slimy Gary Gensler is. I think that from here he goes forward and he says, well, those are the specific facts and circumstances of XRP, but they don't apply to all these others, and he continues to go after the others. Now, Gary's ego, I think, would make him want to appeal this thing, but I think that he's going to have to sit down and take a calculated risk, because the other part of this is, where's Gary even going to be? I think that Gary needs a win now, and I think he could get that with a post-judgment settlement if he could hold up some kind of record fine in return for giving Ripple a few things, maybe a no-action letter on their ODL sales, something like that. All right, one other clip I wanted to show you from Jack McDonald, because the institutions are coming. He thinks so.
I think the Ripple ruling around XRP not being a security is also going to have favorable implications on institutions starting to look more broadly at this area as a suitable place to invest.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Institutions are coming. Thanks for listening.